Hey there, do you ever feel lonely? In this video, I'd like to give some insight into something that a whole lot of people deal with. My name's Daryl Amundsen, and I like to look at things through the light of how God would look at it, through the scriptures, and kind of common sense things. You know, if you're a psychologist or a psychiatrist or an ist of any sort, you may shake a head at a lot of the things that I'm about to say. But like I said, through years of experience and looking at it through the light of God's word, we can find answers to all the things that we deal with. And we realize that they're not the hurdle that we once thought they were. So loneliness, it's a strange thing. We can feel lonely, of course, when we're all alone physically, or in a room full of people. I heard a stat the other day that said during the Christmas season, 2/3 of Americans find themselves lonely. And I thought, wow, in this day and age where it's so easy to be in the company of people, people are finding themselves lonely. Well, it is a mindset, first and foremost. And so there's a couple things that we can do to fix this. Number one, of course, if you're here, you know the title of my videos is Help from Above. So we need to look at what God says about it. Throughout the New Testament, Jesus says, "Lo, I am with you always, even till the end." And he says, "I will never leave you, nor forsake you." And he says, "Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." Even in the Old Testament, the God of Abraham and Isaac and Jacob said, "I will be with you. Do not be afraid. Do not be dismayed, for I am thy God." And what a wonderful promise that we have and that we can just really hold on to. So know that if you're feeling lonely, number one, there's a lot of other people feeling that way. So you're not alone in feeling lonely. Number two, God said, you are not alone. Even if you are physically alone, say on an island in the Pacific Ocean, God is still with you. If you don't have that relationship with Jesus Christ, well, that's the first thing that you need to take care of. The next thing that I want to let you know, in a lot of the issues that we deal with, we need to realize that it's no one's fault. In fact, if it's anyone's fault, it's your own. If I'm lonely, it's my fault. For some reason, when I was raised, mom and dad somehow taught us that if you're ever in a fix, if you're ever in a problem, don't blame anybody. Go at it with the intention that it is your fault and yours to fix. Because if we're going to blame somebody, then that's too big of a hurdle to go over in fixing the problem. Number one, get that out of the way. The next thing we can do, once we know that it's our problem to fix, is make an effort. Like if you're feeling lonely, well, make an effort to be around people, and not only to be around them, but make connections with them. Be interested in what they're interested in. Look them in the eye. Smile at them. Even be careful with this, but a touch on the shoulder or the arm when you're talking to somebody, can mean a lot. And you make that connection. And it's more than a physical connection. It's a spiritual connection. Now, you may get negative effects from people, but keep trying. When you're walking down the street and you meet somebody, say hi. If you're a Christian, say, "God bless you. Have a great day." So these things that we can do, they change our mindset about things. Now, there's one thing that I think has really affected us, talking about the stats of how many Americans are feeling lonely. I think we have these devices that we hold in our hand that really seclude us and exclude us from what's going on around us. And so maybe put down the phone for a while and talk to somebody, make connections. Now, you may have noticed that I didn't go into why we're lonely. If I was a psychiatrist, then I would delve into all of that. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter why you're lonely exactly. It's just, what are we going to do about it now? The scriptures, they say that we should not look behind, but press forward into what God has for us. And so let's seek to remedy the situation, not drag up things from the past. If there's people that need to be forgiven, yeah, that needs to be taken care of and forgiven. But you don't have to reach back to see if there's anyone that needs to be forgiven. My main rule is if there's someone that you can't go and look at them in the eye and enjoy their company, then you need to deal with that relationship. Another thing that we can do to help ourselves from being lonely is when we are alone, and no doubt some people have to be alone more than others just because of their situation. Maybe they've had a spouse die. Maybe their kids left. So use your alone time to the best that you can. Be profitable. Instead of wallowing in our aloneness, find something to do. Maybe you can read. Maybe you can take up a hobby. Write a letter. Read through the Bible. Talk to someone on the phone. Do something rather than just being on your phone or watching TV. Although if that helps, that's okay too. But if you're lonely, make an effort to do something about it rather than staying in your loneliness. Now, I know that there's a lot of people shaking their heads at some of these things and wondering what I'm doing, talking about these things like I have any clue. But I want you to know that what you're dealing with is not uncommon. We all deal with these things. And just because a person doesn't deal with loneliness doesn't mean they haven't dealt with loneliness. It could just be that they're doing well with it. And so we need to be happy, whether we're in a group of people or whether we're alone. Be content. And then you will find that it won't matter. Anyways, I do hope these things help you. I'm going to leave a bunch of scriptures down below in the description that you can read and pray about, and they'll help you. And if you're still feeling really lonely, ask for prayer from somebody, and God will help with that. All right, you all take care.